guess it's possible. I didn't really have a reason to think it wasn't, but I put in more time than I wanted to. Really not, though. This was like 2-ish total hours. Maybe more. Maybe I'm forgetting something. This session is right in an hour, and the only other session that I vividly remember, at least heavily grinding this, was also like exactly an hour. That's just like my threshold for how long I can spend on this nowadays. Hopefully, we'll never have an inkling to go for this stupid fucking path again. No! 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 This cannot be real. That did not just happen. There's actually no fucking way that just happened. I have to take a good, hard, long look at my life and just try to understand where I fucked up so badly to cause these kind of things to happen. I just don't understand. Like, is it something I did in a past life? I think I'm literally gonna throw up if I look at this screen anymore. Fuck this game. Oh my god, I cannot believe that just happened. Man, I love being disappointed by runs like that. Cool.
It's a Psychobilly Freakout!
No way. Oh my god, it's over! Fuck yes! Fuck yes! Fuck yes! Yes! Fucking free of this goddamn song forever! Holy shit! Holy shit! Oh my fucking god, it's over! 340 fucking 1K. This is like right at the end of a 3-hour session, basically, that I was just about to have to give up. Come back later. See you next time. I could tell I was getting better at that half bar again. I think this is only the maybe second time I've hit it in this entire session. But a lot of that is because I was playing on Xbox for 95% of my time with this. Yeah, so yesterday I got the You Really Got Me all squeeze run, and that just kind of signaled to me that, like, I don't know, man. I think it's probably from the Jessica 346 grind, but I just seem to be a little bit more in tune with PS2 timings, maybe. But really, I just didn't feel like setting up the bad update exploit on Xbox again. It's not a big deal, just whatever. Everything was already ready on PS2, and I was accustomed to the timings again from the You Really Got Me stuff yesterday, so just went for it on here. But I guess there is a small technical reason why I wanted to do it on here, and that's just to remove any tiny possibility that the adapter that I'm using could cause some slight whammy inaccuracy. I really don't feel like that's been the case across any of this. I wouldn't be playing Xbox as much as I do if I felt that was a legitimate concern, but even still, when it comes to something like this, I just wanted to leave zero room for any kind of interference. I really don't know where this ranks in my, like, overall best scores, but this was undoubtedly one of the very hardest mental battles I've ever dealt with on a song, and it's for a very specific reason. If you don't watch the choke clips, you're probably not watching this either, but in case you are and you didn't see those, go watch that 341k choke on Xbox. It is the most heartbreaking, stupid fucking thing that has ever happened to me in these games, I think. That choke happened, I think, within the first hour of me ever getting that adjusted fourth act upper bound. And this has been probably 15 fucking hours of attempts later. But it wasn't just the choke, missing it by one tick, that made this so fucking painful. It was how I threw it away that hurt so bad. Because before even doing any runs of this, or maybe after like hitting that fourth act the first time ever and really wanting to make sure I knew what I was doing, I went through the first time I hit the upper bound on Xbox and compared my ticks after the half bar, and that run ended up 340, 616. And after the half bar, I had 76 in ticks. After the half bar on 341 pace, I had 56. So I needed to make up one more tick using a standard act like I used here on the last act. But my last act on the first half bar run, the 616, wasn't even good. Like, I didn't push it at all because I didn't care. I was just trying to safely close out the run. So basically what I'm getting at is if I did a standard act on that run where I missed this by one tick, by trying to push that front end at all, I am 99% sure I would have gotten 341k that run. But honestly, I can't even remember the state of mind I was in after hitting the half bar on that 341k pace run. because it was just such a shock. I couldn't believe it, and I just kind of froze. I feel like, honestly, I should have paused and just really tried to figure out what I was doing, but it just kind of left me in a state of shock. And to be fair, because I didn't review the front end to the last act on the 616 run, and I didn't know how bad it was or how unoptimized it was, I basically told myself that if I got past the half bar with less than 60 ticks, that was the fucking thing I told myself that just ruined everything. Because I said, if I have less than 60 ticks, I'm going to go for reverse ticks like the upper bound path does. And I only got 20, and I needed 24. To be completely fair, I was completely, and still am, not used to the back end while going for reverse ticks, and star power ended on the frame that I pulled off to the green. So basically, if I had the ticks for 341k, given that same back end execution, I would have missed the squeeze by a frame. So that at least didn't just kill me in review, but yeah, it didn't even really hit me immediately. It took like a day for that to sink in and realize that I just threw 341 fucking K after reviewing that 340 616 first half bar on Xbox front end on the last act. And from there, yeah, again, just my mentality was just in the garbage for this, because I really didn't realize, I didn't know just how lucky that I had gotten, and just how insanely fucking hard it would be to pair all that together again. But at the very least, as a consolation for the suffering that I went through over the past week, seriously, it's been a week since I threw away that run. At least the second time I paired the fourth act with the half bar, my ticks were just good enough and I didn't choke that outro. Somehow. I mean, I'm like 99.9% consistent with it, but there's just no preparing you for those nerves. Especially all these hours of attempts later, where I really understand just how fucking insanely hard this is. It is a relief beyond any words that I can use to describe that can just exit my mental space finally. That fourth act is the most frustrating fucking thing in the world, because it's very tight timing wise for my TAS. It was a 4-frame window, but what makes it so irritating is the front end and how it leads into that strumming pattern. I pretty much just put this out of my mind, said this isn't going to happen for a long time, partially because I didn't want to have anything to do with this, but also because the few attempts that I did throw at that fourth act and runs, I was always red flaming that front end by like multiple frames. The execution was just too awkward, and I could not force my brain to separate all of the moving parts. And the only way I was able to get around that was basically by including the front end blue in that strumming pattern. So I would do the extended hit window execution on it, and then basically alt strum the following blue and then continue the strumming from there. But that introduced so many goddamn problems with not fretting the oranges on time, and on top of that, it also threw off my strumming pattern for that section because it added an extra strum at the beginning, and that made it to where the blue-orange chords ended on down strums instead of up strums like I've been used to since ever. And I tried so many methods to get around that. I spent so much time on sections 2C through the ending in practice mode. So fucking long. I tried breaking my strumming after like the first set of chords and then picking up like the old pattern from there, because really what makes that section so hard after the front end, it's not usually the first even couple sets of chords I miss on. It's the third or last set of blue-orange chords in that strumming sequence, because as it goes on, I guess ironically, to what I would expect, gets harder to stay locked into that execution. But I also want to clear up that it's not that performing the section that way is particularly difficult, and this is what makes activations like this so shitty, is that you cannot replicate the issues in practice mode. I would hit that in practice mode simulating the extended hit window front end, and I would hit it, 10 times in a row, and I was like, oh, okay, I got it figured out. And then I would go into runs and just red flame the front end over and over, and then, adjusting to that problem in runs, delaying the fret. That's when I really started missing in that following strumming section, just over and over. And for how late in the song the difficult parts of this song is, even though this is a really short song, it's only like 3 minutes long, that is just the most frustrating and heartbreaking shit, to just miss on that shit over and fucking over. And again, I just have to bring it back to that first choke. Just every time something stupid in this grind happened, that replayed in my head. You should have had this done already. This could have been over. And like over time, for the amount of shit that I've put up with in these games at this point, I've gotten very good at like rationalizing why certain mistakes happen, and just coming to terms and getting over shit. But that was just too irritating and mindless of a mistake that I made to ever fully let it go. So in all, that Act 4 is a fucking huge piece of shit, even on its own, but where it's at in the song just makes it unbelievably frustrating, and the fact that it's so close to the half bar. As for the rest of the song, the plan, it reminds me a lot of Get Ready to Rock, for what should be pretty obvious reasons. The whole goal is just get to Act 4 as consistently as possible. And I have definitely gotten way better at the first half of the song than I ever wanted to. Have to, I should say. Act 1, I used to think was like a pretty difficult act, and it's got a lot of moving parts and annoying front end and annoying whammies to execute. But I've gotten to the point where I'm generally getting to the fourth act front end about 90% of runs, and this still took all those fucking hours. The second act, pretty early on, I discovered that, extended hit window helps on the front end, but I was a lot more likely to red flame the front end using it than missing the act not using it. It's really not very hard at all. It's just the prospect of having to be so consistent with the first half of the song that very occasionally my execution would just slip on it out of, falling out of focus, let alone frustration. But that act I'm like 95+% consistent with. I think the most frustrating part of this, outside of, the last two acts, is just solo 2 in its entirety. I mean, that also complicates the Act 4 front end a lot, just having to mentally keep track of all of the annoying timings in solo 2, and then quickly switch gears to try to lock into the fourth act front end execution, because getting consistent with solo 2 is just so frustrating. The first hurdle, and the thing that probably overall gave me the most shit, was the yellow, blue, yellow strumming sequence that follows the red, yellow, orange chord sustain. I'm very familiar with this engine and this game specifically at this point, and I'm really trying to leverage every possible mechanic to make that consistent, but every so often, it wasn't super common, but 1 out of every 15, 20 runs or so, I would miss on that, and missing anything outside of that fourth act front end and beyond was just so defeating. But the other part of Solo 2 that was really annoying was the blue-yellow pull-off that follows the blue-orange sustain. Because obviously I can't afford to throw away ticks here. That blue strums timing window is basically nothing on the back end, and it took a decent amount of time to stop missing there fairly consistently in runs, which was just super frustrating. And also the yellow-blue sustain that leads into the strums that precede the fourth act front end. That was also really irritating to not drop ticks on, especially being so close to that front end, and especially the method that I had to use for that fourth act front end of sliding my index finger down to yellow before the front end, because trying to activate it with my ring finger just absolutely never worked. Just always red flamed it, usually again by like 2 frames. And when I saw red flaming that by 2 frames, I just like immediately knew that I wasn't anywhere close to where I needed to be. But yep, wow, unfucking real, man. I mean, I can't even say that because of how close I got super early on, but I'm very proud of myself for pushing through the mental torture that this last week has been, honestly, due to that, and finally closing this out. Never, ever, ever have to play this stupid fucking song again in my life. And again, I just have to stress, all things considered, the fact that both of these runs that I got past the half bar had the ticks for 341k is pretty crazy, because I went through chorus 3, the half bar phrase, many times after red flaming the fourth act or missing the back end, and my ticks were like 40. So that was just something I just basically had to completely put out of my head, and why I didn't want to fucking go for this in the first place, and why I said in the score your description of my 340.8 run that just too many things had to go right for this. But thankfully they did. It's just, again, crazy that both runs had this potential. The fact that I didn't choke the You Really Got Me all squeeze run yesterday on the outro and this on the outro is pretty amazing. Again, I don't know exactly where this ranks in my overall scores, but it's gotta be very high up there in the entire series, if I'm being completely honest. Even though I don't like generally making claims about that, because I don't know how difficult some of the other games are, or how optimized they are. I trust, the people that have done it to the extent that I can, but I generally do not feel comfortable making statements like that. But I just know that this has to be like in the very upper echelon of series scores. Don't even get to save this, just like Jessica, because of the unlock all cheat, but it's over. I feel like I just beat the final boss of GH2. Alright, did not think I was gonna find myself back doing one of these again. This wasn't even something that I was shooting for, this overall score spread. It just kind of happened as I was going through the last of the stuff that I wanted to try, and more poignantly, I guess, everything I could get through before the last of my guitars stopped working. Because of the way I post these in the backlog that I had of scores, I did Psychobilly over 3 months ago. Surrender was the last thing that I did just around 2 months ago. But anyway, I had no idea what my final score, I guess, would be adding this all up. I actually thought I was going to be quite a bit under, like 1,000 or more below this 50,000 spread. But I guess everything just kind of added up perfectly in the end. So Psychobilly 341k was like plus 204, and you can see the spread as 50,243. So that would mean, in terms of at least what I posted, that I had the 50k spread from Surrender. But if I remember correctly, that's not actually accurate. I think for whatever reason, JPrez deleted a score that he had plus 200 on. And there may have been more stuff that was never posted, but I do remember that being the case. So at least in terms of what I remember seeing actually posted to the website, of course there could be other stuff that was never posted, blah blah blah. I did actually need the 200 from Psychobilly 341k. Again, in terms of chronologically, just when I'm posting stuff, it was actually from Surrender, but I did need that extra 200 to actually solidify 50k here. Should be obvious, but I'm not doing this to call anyone out or whatever. I just thought this was a really cool and surprising milestone to kind of cap this all off with. I've taken advantage of a lot of modern mechanics, a few little things I found, mostly stuff found by Jill, to push this score increase to where it is. A lot of hard work went into it, of course, but yeah, there are multiple reasons why this spread is the way that it is compared to the other games in the series. I did finally go through as well and input all my Xbox scores, which that's the thing about this spread too, is, you know, it doesn't include any of the Xbox exclusives or DLC. So here's the spread on the base Xbox game, and the spread on the download tracks, which is another kind of funny, somewhat notable coincidence. The combination here is 90k, 91k actually. And because I butchered the recording so bad in the last time I did one of these for the full Harmonix Guitar Hero sweep, I'll just go through and show the individual scores here for the last time where you can actually read them. So I'm not going to go through the whole lag glitch thing again. That's documented well enough in the last video, and I don't feel the need to dig that stuff back up and go through all that. Also, just in case anyone's curious, and to align with what I believe should be the standards for this stuff going forward, I will be adding unlisted videos to all of these scores with just the pictures. I just had to get them all posted up to do this little thing here. And as I said before, because I butchered that last recording so bad, I don't think I've lost any first in the other two games, so I'll just do another quick run through here. There is some updated stuff since that video, but mainly I'm just doing this so it's legible. I'm going to be rendering this out in 1080 because of the webcam, or the hand cam anyway, so won't have to deal with any of that weird scaling stuff. So yeah, I guess that's it. This is the last score video that I have to post. Feels nice to be finally just up to date with this stuff at the very least and get rid of all this backlog. As I said before, all my guitars are busted, just the whammy bars. I've been through 4 whammy bars at this point. I haven't even tried to fix any of them because the component is just a mess to work with, it looks like. At this point, I can't say I have any real ambition to pick this back up again for many reasons. Don't get it twisted, there are still thousands of points available in these games, even without the lag glitch in 280s. But I'm also not putting like a hard flag in the ground here and saying this is the end of it for sure. If I feel like going for something in the future and you see a score pop up, then it is what it is. But as of now, this looks like the end of it. So thanks for watching these. I will have like one more video, I think, of something not Harmonix Guitar Hero related. But after that, I'll be done with all the backlog of videos and likely be seeing my way out from there, at least for the foreseeable future.